The movie Thug Life that audience saw on June 5th of the year should have been actually a Rajinikanth and Maniratnam film. In fact, there was so much news coming out of Rajini Mani collaboration that people were quite shocked ultimately that Mani and Kamal is what happened ultimately. Even reputable sites like SEMA, the Indian Awards channel, in a tweet mentioned about collaboration between Maniratnam and Rajinikanth. So what happened? Why did we get the Thug Life colossal failure as per the analysts instead of a Rajinikanth Maniratnam film? What transpired behind the scenes? Well, there is a character in Hollywood. There's this character called Kathleen Kennedy, who used to hang out with George Lucas, the director of Star Wars franchise, and Steven Spielberg, and eventually she rose up the rank and drove Star Wars to a kind of what many critics say to be its worst ever performance as a franchise. So this lady sort of brought in the woke culture and super feminism kind of concept, whereby the traditional storytelling things fell by the wayside. So I digress. I come back to the current story. So the lady here in question is Suhasini Maniratnam, the same Suhasini who acted with superstar Rajinikanth in Dramatin Taliban, the same Suhasini who, if you look at the YouTube interview she did with the director Nelson, pressurized him about the way he portrayed females in the Jailer film, insinuating that director Nelson is not a forward-thinking male. And then she would do very well. In fact, now to interview her husband Maniratnam and Uncle Kamal to query on how they treat females and female roles in their films, which let's see if she, being someone very concerned about feminism, does that. But anyway, this narrative seems to fit a lot of the things that the public has been seeing on the outside. The peculiar twists in the names associated with the Marathon project, from Rajinikanth to Kamal, and also the moving away of heroes like Jayam Ravi, now known as Ravi Mohan, I believe, and Dulquer Salman from the project. A lot of the time, it's not the star or the achiever in any field themselves that brings in luck, but oftentimes people around them, and a lot of the time it's the female that do it. I'm not biased against women as such, but I'm just saying what I observe. Of course, you can give counter claims and so on. We see how Rajinikanth sometimes get into trouble because of the good intention of his daughters in getting involved in the cinematic projects. And if I recall correctly, even Maniratnam joked about how Suhasini told him not to make Ponniyin Selvan, and he decided to go against her word, and it became to be, at least the part one did quite well. So as per this narrative that's doing the rounds in the internet, it's quite well written and sounds like somebody who's probably worked behind the scene in the production of Sumatra Stockies and so on, or maybe RKF, I wouldn't know. But the writer alleges that after Ponniyin Selvan, where Rajini was brought in as a guest in a guest appearance on stage, and he gave like a audio launch talk that mesmerized everybody, and in fact Rajini's name was like, people are wondering, is it a Ponniyin Selvan movie or a Rajini film? And one it wouldn't be surprising if Kamal sort of felt sidelined, and the Maniratnam clan felt a bit, funny about what happened. And we saw Ponniyin Selvan 2, Rajini wasn't called in, and the Rajini Mani project also sort of disappearing, and so Kamal on a high after the success of Vikram. So Rajini and Kamal always had this love-hate relationship, more from the side of Kamal than Rajini, because Rajini is always the underdog, the outsider who came from, in apostrophe, another state and did well in Kollywood. So as per this author of this internet news, apparently there was a birthday celebration for Kamal right after the Ponniyin Selvan success, and in this gathering, Suhasini allegedly asked Maniratnam, why do a project with Rajini, why not give Kamal a chance? And so due to whatever calculations, Mani sort of diverted his story that he worked with Rajini to come together, and sort of went into Kamal, apparently brought in writer Jaya Mohan. I digress a bit about writers. Kollywood is facing a very harsh dearth of writers, and whatever writer that existed inside the directors after years, it's also faded away. And as we know, Maniratnam itself is directing stories that are made by other sources like Mahabharata or how to say Talapati was from also from Mahabharata, right? And various sources rather Ravanan and so on, right? Rather than original stories. His so-called magnum opus with Nayagan was actually Godfather from Hollywood, and Anjali was, if you go and watch extra E.T. the Extraterrestrial by Steven Spielberg, he lifted it from there. So as Suhasini vouched for Uncle Kamal Hassan, and I knew that Kamal Hassan's market was improving with the success of Vikram and so on. The success of Pushpa 1 and 2 is attributed to director Sukumaran, who was apparently a professor, and he put the writer Sukumaran. So that's how important writing is, you see. So anyway, Maniratnam said writer Jaymohan came up with a script, and apparently Kamal sort of rejected it and gave his own script that he wrote, which Maniratnam improvised on. And Kamal being Kamal, of course, the movie script would include some French kissing and some kind of a female-related issue of rape and prostitution-related matters. And if you see the movie Thug Life, the way the script is structured seems like everybody's asking why people are talking so much. Kamal likes to talk a lot. Maniratnam's dialogues are usually very short, so it does seem somebody who wrote the dialogues, one would still want to assume Kamal did major portion of the work there. And so what could have been a successful Maniratnam Rajinikanth blockbuster turned out to be a Kamal dominated, Maniratnam directed mega flop. So Dulquer Salmaan, Jaymohan, Jayam Ravi and Rajinikanth, I guess God saved them. Even the pre-Vikram, Kamal produced Rajini as hero with Lokesh Kanagaraj directing, maybe Kamal as a guest star project. Rajini rejected because of the so-called co-producer Mahindran that Kamal brought in, and the allegation of these writers that Mahindran is taking up a lot of money in promotional activities. Again, this is what's being written. So maybe Rajini was right in rejecting that Loki Kamal project because he was concerned about Mahindran's role in the project. So just like Rajini bailed out Maniratnam the first time after the Anjali debacle in the early 90s, whether he will again, just like he rescued Nelson after Beast and Loki after Leo, whether he will look favorably upon Maniratnam and still come together for a project remains to be seen. Maybe it will happen. So this article I'm quoting was written in Tamil in the internet, and as I said, the person seems to be having a good knowledge of the background working of the film industry. Again, take everything with a grain of salt. We live in a world of social media where everything can be anything, but the way it's written, if it was a fake thing, then it's written hugely well, that must be said. And so anyway, we hope all our artists come out on top ultimately. Always have to keep the ego in check. Instead of huge salaries and thinking of ways of selling the film by creating scandals and dramas and interlanguage battles and so on, or sexual try to make good art, and definitely the public will support the work. So let's hope that Rajini and Mani do come together later. Let's hope Kamal finds a good inspiration moving forward as a learning point from what happened here, and maybe Suhasini can do her own projects rather than crisscrossing with her hubby if the article is true. Otherwise, Kamal's current, attraction to the concept of death from Uttama Villain onwards in various films where he apparently dies and come back to life, which different directors are interpreting and succeeding in various levels in bringing that to the screen. Hopefully it ends and Kamal start thinking about life and positivity. So to the question whether Rajinikanth has any link to the failure of Thug Life, not intentionally. He wanted to do something good. However, fate and maybe Suhasini and other people had different things in mind, and so Thug Life happened. Do share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you. Bye-bye.